Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement, quotes, "There's actually quite legitimate business in New Zealand for servicing foreign trusts"?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, as Michael Cullen said in 2005 when the disclosure rules were being developed, and I quote, "The government has sought to develop policy that works for all concerned, one that enables New Zealand to cooperate with other tax jurisdictions while not disrupting the legitimate financial transactions of foreign trusts."
Supplementary.
That won't save you.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Are foreigners able to use New Zealand-based trusts to dodge tax overseas?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, anyone can use the New Zealand tax rules, and there's obviously mismatches around the world, and we see that potentially with multinationals and others. But interestingly enough, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to ensuring that people are paying their tax, including foreign trusts, the House might like to know that of the Panama Papers data release, of the 500,000 times that Mossack Fonseca are linked to either a company, a trust, an individual or a reference, 200, less than 200 are foreign trusts registered in New Zealand. And by the way, IRD have cross-referenced them, and all of them are disclosed to ensure they pay their fair share of tax.
Order. Before I call a further supplementary, I just want a little less interjection from my left. Andrew Little, supplementary question.
How does he reconcile his claim that his close personal advisor had assured him that he had no links with Mossack Fonseca with today's revelations that show that Mr. Whitney has...
Order. 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 I sought some further cooperation from my left. I'm now asking for the same sort of cooperation, less barracking through question as it's being delivered from my right. Would Andrew Little like to start that question again?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. You've got plenty to laugh at, Paula. Plenty to laugh at. On your side.
Order. Order. If I don't get any assistance from my right-hand side, then I'll be looking to ask a member to leave. Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How does he reconcile his claim that his close personal advisor had assured him that he had no links with Mossack Fonseca with today's revelations that show Mr. Whitney has had dealings with that firm?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Firstly, I have no responsibility for Mr. Whitney or any other New Zealander. But Mr. Speaker, I stand by the statements that I've made in relation to Mr. Whitney, and I think incrimination by insinuation could be a very dangerous game because, Mr. Speaker, I took a moment just to look in the database, and guess who's a beneficiary of one of the trusts? Oh, Greenpeace International. And guess who else is mentioned? Amnesty International.
Order. The Prime Minister will... Well, the Prime Minister might... Order. The Prime Minister might think that he could go on, but when I stand to my feet, he certainly cannot go on. Order. Order. If I have to ask... Order. No, the member will resume his seat. If I have to ask either the Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister to leave, I will not hesitate to do so. Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does he see any issue with the people lobbying the IRD to protect foreign trusts having connections to Mossack Fonseca?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Firstly, you reject the last part of it, but I don't see any issue with a lobby group speaking to the government. In fact, I'm sure that the education sector and teachers speak to the Education Minister. I'm sure those who are interested in health and safety speak to the workplace. I'm sure the CTU talk to the Labor Party. Mr. Speaker, here's breaking news. People who work in an industry might actually want to talk to the government about it. If you're going to hang them for that, there's going to be a lot of hangings taking place.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Did he personally push through the zero rating of tax on foreign funds in 2010 over the objection of officials from the Ministry of Economic Development Or put another way, does he recall saying, quotes, "I've told Jerry to deliver me a paper that has 0 rating of funds"?
Mr. Speaker,
Right Honourable
no.
Prime Minister.
Point of order.
Point of order. Andrew Little.
I seek leave to table a copy of an article from the New Zealand Herald of the 2nd of December 2010 in which the
Order.
Prime Minister is quoted
Order.
in exactly
Order.
those words.
When a point of order is raised, it is to be heard in silence, and that particularly applies to noise coming from my back right-hand side. But if it's a newspaper article, then members can find it if they want. So, order. Order.
Supplementary.
Supplement. Order. Is Mr Robertson ready? Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Is he satisfied with the government's oversight of foreign trusts when Mossack Fonseca used a bankrupt Elvis impersonator to provide a sham address for a player in an Iraqi bribery scandal, all without his government noticing?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, it's true. There is an Elvis impersonator that's named, but there's also an impersonator for the Leader of the Opposition asking questions today.
Order.
He's not a clown like the Prime Minister.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little. Andrew Little.
Peddling fast.
Does he oppose New Zealanders and multinationals using another country's tax laws to dodge New Zealand tax, given that he allows foreigners to do the same thing here?
The Right
Mr.
Honourable Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
I can't talk for Greenpeace, Amnesty and the Red Cross, Mr. Speaker, but what I can say is that every country has a different tax system. There is no global tax system, and there are mismatches around the world, that's true. The government is working on trying to resolve those issues through the OECD, and we've been leading a lot of that work, and I hope we're successful in that because that will help actually robustness around the world. But New Zealand's tax laws are very well set.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why does he say that New Zealand is falling down the corruption-free index on his watch?
Mr. Speaker,
Right Honourable
there are
Prime
a number
Minister.
of factors, but New Zealand's ranked extremely highly. They're going to that. We are third, I think,
Order.
of 184.
Order, Prime Minister. There is no point in answering a question asked if they don't want to hear the answer.